Hello, everyone, and welcome back to 108,000 Radio Network. This is Sports for Kids. I am Jake Morgenstein, and these are my co-hosts, William Batten and Ryan Schlesinger. We'll get started with you, Ryan. We're talking about the NFL today. Ryan, who's going to win the NFC East this year?
Well, in my opinion, the NFC East is one of the tightest division races in all of football. You have three great teams. Just for a second, to start off this show, let's rule out the Commanders. I think they have no chance at winning this division. Maybe a tiny chance, like 5% or less, at sneaking into a wild card spot. But I do not trust the Commanders. It looks like they'll be going with Sam Howell as their QB this year. Everything there in Washington is just a mess right now with the Commanders, like it's been for the past few years, dating back to all the way when they were the Redskins and the football team. Even though they did sneak into a playoff spot a few years ago before losing to the Buccaneers in the wild card round, I do not think the Commanders have a chance at competing for a division title here. So it's between three teams: the New York Giants, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Dallas Cowboys. I personally think that it'll be very close. Very similar to last year. I think the Giants and the Eagles are going to be competing. The Giants and the Cowboys are going to be competing for second place, and the Philadelphia Eagles are going to win this division. The Eagles were arguably the best team in football last season, or at least at bare minimum, the best team in the NFC last year. The Chiefs being in the AFC, probably the best team. But the Eagles were amazing last year, and they didn't really lose anyone. They have Jalen Hurts returning. They have their great defense returning. They have Devontae Smith. And they have A.J. Brown returning. They did lose their running back, Miles Sanders, to the Carolina Panthers, but I still think they're winning this division, and the Giants and the Cowboys will compete for second place.
So I'm going to get my thoughts in here real quick, and I think that it's not going to be the Eagles. I don't think the Cowboys are going to really do much. I think it's going to be the New York Giants that win this division, actually. I think the Giants are going to have an amazing season. He's been developed, and he's going to keep doing the things that he is doing. The wide receiver core is still pretty nice. The players are still being developed. Daniel Jones is still being developed. He has the opportunity to become one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL this season if he could really pick up the pace and develop faster, as he is one of the more older, younger quarterbacks. But let's head to Will. Will, what are your thoughts on this division?
Did you just say that the Giants have a competent wide receiver core? Who's in that wide receiver room? Tell me. Isaiah Hodgins is the wide receiver one. Oh, yeah, teams are going to double Isaiah Hodgins. They're shaking. Also, when was the last time a team went back-to-back winning the NFC East? 2 consecutive years. It hasn't happened in forever. You can look all the way back. Me personally, I think that I have the Dallas Cowboys. I think that they have a good cornerback duo in Stephon Gilmore, Trayvon Diggs. I think that they have a competent offense, but for the Cowboys to win this division, it's not going to be Dak Prescott leading them, because we know who Dak Prescott is. He's a borderline top 15 quarterback in the NFL. He's pretty meh. So, we know what we have in Dak Prescott. He's going to have to just be a game manager for Tony Pollard. Let's take the question from the guy in the orange shirt.
Hi, thank you. I'm actually a reporter from Bleacher Report. My name is Jason White. I'd like to ask you on your opinions about Jimmy Garoppolo and the Raiders, and what do you think he's going to do with the Raiders, and how is his season going?
So I'm just going to say real quickly that I think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to really help the Raiders. I think he's going to be a bigger upgrade than Derek Carr. I think Garoppolo, in my mind, is still one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the NFL. But let's do Ryan. Ryan, what do you think of this?
I think Jimmy Garoppolo is also one of the more underrated quarterbacks in the NFL, and it'll be interesting to see what he can do with the Raiders now paired with Devontae Smith, and then he also has the option to hand the ball off to Josh Jacobs, who in my opinion is one of the most underrated running backs in the league. Yes, everyone knows he's great, but I feel like he just deserves more recognition. Not a lot of people were high on him in fantasy this year, and I'm just saying this because I had him on my fantasy team. He did great for my fantasy team last year, and he was one of my best pickups, so I like Josh Jacobs and Devontae Smith. But real quickly, before we go to Will, we're going to pause for station identification and an ad break. This show is presented by Play-by-Play Sports Broadcasting Camps. Kids ages 10 to 18 can come to Play-by-Play Sports Broadcasting Camps in many different cities and learn how to be a broadcaster. And we are listening to 100.80 Sports Radio. And up next, after our show, we have Anik, who will be hosting the ACL Cornhole Radio Broadcast Championships. Now let's go to Will.
Will, what do you think about the Jimmy Garoppolo?
I think Jimmy Garoppolo is an upgrade from Derek Carr. I don't like Derek Carr. I never liked what I saw in Derek Carr. I think
agree.
as he aged, he got worse with Jimmy Garoppolo. He can be a game manager. You can run the offense through Devontae Adams. You can run the offense through Josh Jacobs. I mean, you can look when Aaron Rodgers wasn't there with Devontae Adams. I mean, he's the best wide receiver in the NFL. One meh year. In a meh year for Devontae Adams is he's the 6th best wide receiver statistically in the league. Devontae Adams he's the best wide receiver in the NFL. I think that Jimmy G is just going to be a game manager. They have a nice defense. I think the Raiders ceiling is 10-7, but their floor I would say is like a little 6-11. But I have them going 8-9.
I like that, but I think the Raiders are going to be a little bit better than 8-9. I think closer towards 10-7. Something that Jimmy Garoppolo has is that Derek Carr doesn't. Is Jimmy Garoppolo has a Super Bowl appearance. And now let's head one more question in the gray sweatshirt.
Oh, thank you. Who do you think's going to win the Super Bowl this year?
All right, I'll just touch on it at the beginning. Super Bowl winner, I believe, is going to be the New York Jets. I think that a big upgrade with Aaron Rodgers. Will, I know you're a Packers fan. You've had many years with Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers is going to come from your side to my side, and he's going to take us to do something he's done once with the Packers, and he's going to do it once with the Jets, and that's winning a Super Bowl. How about you, Ryan? Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl?
Who I think is going to win the Super Bowl, I honestly think that it will be the Philadelphia Eagles. They fell short last year in the Super Bowl, and I'm going to get hate for this pick. And I'm actually a Giants fan too, but I do recognize the Eagles for being elite, and I think this is the year, their second year with this pretty much same exact offense system, except a new running back is here. But I think Nick Sirianni will lead this Eagles team to a Super Bowl. Just because I think second time's a charm. I think they're going to get it done. They got some unfinished business.
I agree. I think the Eagles have a very good chance of getting out of the NFC and in the Super Bowl, and they can maybe even win it this year. But how about you, Will? Don't say the Packers again.
I have the Green Bay Packers winning this year's Super Bowl. Great offense around Jordan Love. I think Jordan Love, this is just based off of if Jordan Love comes out and if he's a top 10 quarterback immediately. I think if he's a top 10 guy, if Jordan Love's average, I think that the Packers go 11-6. I'm just going to put that out there. But great offense. Luke Musgrave, Tucker Kraft, good tight ends. Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs, Maury Toure, Jaden Reed, decent wide receiver core. Great defense. That's all for me.
I have not heard of either one of those tight ends, just so you know.
No, they're high draft picks. I don't know what you're going on. It's because you're a casual.
I'm not a casual, except I don't follow a team like the Green Bay Packers who have Jordan Love as their quarterback. But that's gonna do it for Sports for Kids. Make sure to check out the ACL Cornhole Championship coming up next with Anik. Thank you all so much for listening to the show on 100.80. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you guys later.
Let's go to Anik.